Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to card making tutorial 572. Today we're going to use our Anna Griffin supplies to make a gorgeous card. Now it's a card we've made very similar before in the past, but we're just changing it slightly for this one. I love the colourways and I just wanted to revisit it to just make it a little bit different, that's all. And I'm sure you're going to like it as well. Suitable for both advanced and beginner crafters. For beginner crafters, it's dipping your toe into paper crafting and paper cutting. For advanced crafters, it's helping you keep your pattern paper and using the pattern to its fullest ability, basically. Everything I do here is actually put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. There's always lots of photos on there as well of both past and present projects, not just this project. There's so many to have a look at. It's worth spending a little bit of time on there. You can always subscribe to YouTube, and if you do that, you will subscribe to my channel and you will receive notifications of when new tutorials are available. You can always find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest. I have remembered, and there's so many ideas on there. Please check it out. And if you want, you can always contact me. Let me know what you think. Let me know if my videos have helped you. I do get emails and I'm so thankful for receiving such gorgeous emails from people telling me how much they enjoy crafting along with me. And I think that's great. It really is. So thank you very much. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, and let's have a look at today's gorgeous project. For today's tutorial, we're going to be using the Anna Griffin birthday set of 22 rubber clay stamps. This is an older set. If you don't have this, don't panic. I'm sure you've got something in your stash that you could use. I'm using it because we've got a one-line stamp. It says, wishing you the biggest of days. And it's all in one line, and we're going to use that for the insert. But we use it to go around the outside of something, so that's why I've picked a one line stamp. So anything that you can manipulate just into changing it to a curve would work, so don't get too hung up about using the particular stamp. We are going to be using the Anna Griffin Ruffle cut and embossed dies. I'm going to be using the large ornate oval, and I'm going to be using the long plain oval die. So those are the two that we're going to use, and that's it. So it's kind of like more of a technique is this card, and it's just going to be a good different quick card depending on whether you use a craft knife or scissors. The base card that we're using is a 7x5" card. I'll show you how that looks on our cardometer. And I know I'm repeating myself, and forgive me, but for new viewers, a cardometer is something I've designed, and it gives you a perspective at home of what size card that we're using. So we're using a 7x5" card. The largest size on our cardometer is the UK A4 size. No, my friends, are different across the pond. A4 folded in half is A5. Again, I know it's different across the pond, but it shows you just an idea. So our next size is the 7x5, and then we have A6, A7 and ATC. So that just gives you an idea at home. The card is a plain ivory card, and I've used my handmade by stamp to stamp on the back, add my name, and I add my project number, just so that that keeps me, well, basically at my age, it makes me remember where I am. So I'm using my bone folder to make sure I've got a nice sharp crease along the edge of my card. And for any new viewers, the bone folder is in the Anna Griffin tool collection. So we're going to create the inside first. Now, the inside of the card is just as pretty as the outside, nice and simple. I'm using one of the Anna Griffin lovely layers for this, and it's such a pretty paper. And this is one of those that if you want to keep the design of a paper, we've done something very similar to this before in the past, but we're using the added extra of the Ruffle cut and embossed dies for this, just to make it a little bit different to the one that we've done before. So now the inside of a card, where I've used the lovely layer, you can see there's a big aperture in the centre, and I've cut out the design that we're going to keep this for the front of the card. So this, in theory, is the waist, and I didn't want to throw it away because it's just too pretty for that. So I've cut it down to 1/4 of an inch smaller than the inside of our card. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I'm simply going to position it into the centre of our card, even though it's got that great big hole or aperture in the middle. Now, to cover that aperture, what I've done is I've die cut the large oval ruffle. I've die cut it in a lilac cardstock from the Anna Griffin Perfect palette, and this is where I've stamped the edge of it. So I manipulated my stamp on the block to just go into a curved shape, and I've stamped "Wishing you the happiest of days." I think I said the biggest of days earlier. Wishing you the happiest of days. I've got flat tape on the back, and I am simply going to position this over the centre where that aperture was, and that's going to cover that up. I can press that down, and that is our insert complete. Lots of room for a nice message. It's going to work perfectly with the outside, and it's such a pretty design. We can still see the design on the paper underneath, and it all just matches so well. So now we can go back to the outside. I'm just going to use my bone folder again to make sure I've got that nice sharp crease. Now the base layer for the outside is one of the metallic layers from Anna, and it's 7x5 in size. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and you can see I've already cut out the centre to be economical, because the centre I'm going to use further on this card. So I'm not wasting it, and it doesn't matter that I've cut a great big hole in the middle of this. Now you'll see my tape is a bit odd. There is a reason for that, but it isn't going to affect it. It's only because I've got the added tape on for our next layer, and I'm looking at the next layer thinking, I really don't know why I've put the tape like that, so I must just be having a senior moment. But I was thinking it was going to help. So I'm going to turn the card round to put our layer over it, because it's going to cover the entire card front like so. There we go. So now it is a lilac card front. Our next layer is the same lovely layer cardstock that we used in the centre of our card. Now what I've done is I've cut away the pattern of the edges. I've got this on 3D foam, and I'm simply going to position this on our card front over our previous layer. Now I can press that down, and that's why I'm thinking I don't know why I did the tape like that, so just ignore that. Maybe I just wanted to make sure the centre was stuck down. I don't know what I was thinking. So that now has created a gorgeous layer, and it looks so pretty like that anyway. Our next layer is our Ruffle cut and emboss oval. I've got 3D foam on the back of it. Again, I've used the Lilac from the Perfect Palette collection from Anna Griffin. And I'm just going to lay that on top of our cut layer. Now the cut layer I used a craft knife for, I forgot to mention this. You can use scissors, you can use whatever you're happy using. For this I used a craft knife, it was a lot quicker for me doing it that way. It just worked around the edges, taking that bit of pattern away. Okay, so we're laying our oval over the top of our pattern. We're not covering it up entirely. Our next layer is the oval that we cut out of the base layer, and we're just going to lay that flat through the centre of, and I'm saying flat, it's actually on 3D foam. We're laying it through the centre of our Ruffle die, like so. Then we can add the centre that we took out from the insert, if you remember that. I've cut that out from directly the centre. I've got this on 3D foam, and I'm going to add that through the centre of our oval layer, like so. Next, I've taken one of the favourite sentiment stickers, and I'm going to add this to the bottom of the pattern centre, like so. There we go. And then finally, I've got a lilac bow that I'm just going to add underneath the sentiment, like that. And that is our card finished. Now, I think for a quick and easy card, that is such a gorgeous idea. Lots of layers. We've not used a lot of items. Do need a little bit of patience to cut out the centre of the design. The inside matches perfectly. We can see those gorgeous layers, and it's just such a pretty card. And it will go in a normal envelope, stands up perfectly. I think I've just said that. And I love the lilac. I know the last time we did a very lilac card, my nail varnish was virtually the same. I was very colour coordinated. But I do like lilac. It's one of my favourite colours. I think that is so pretty, and it would work with different colours, whether you use the pink or the green, etc. Check my blog for lots of photos, because I'll take them of both inside and outside of the card just to jog your memory. Check the blog for so many more tutorials. Everything I use is listed on the blog, so please check that out, and if I can include links I will do. So I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.